Hello, folks. Welcome to the UK Games Expo live stream. What should I say? It was, oh yeah, I remembered my Spanish. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Because Sundancer in the chat is being all Spanish, like hola, ¿qué tal?
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, that's
Multiple
it.
different spellings.
Yeah, my spelling was probably the wrong one because I'm terrible. Anyway, my name is Millie. Welcome to the UK Games Expo live stream. I'm joined as always by the lovely Kate, UK Games Expo marketing manager. How are you, Kate?
I am very well. I have a terrible admission, I have a carbohydrate hangover. I try not to eat white carbohydrates because I am old and greedy, and not doing that means I can eat food. But last night it was all of the pancakes. So yeah,
We are
that's
being
the
accused
thing.
of being hobbits in Twitch chat.
Oh yes, yes, damn right we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're going on
It's
an
not a height
adventure.
requirement anymore.
Yeah.
Although I'd sort of fulfill it.
And sitting patiently to one side here while we talk about food and butcher Spanish is Matt from Loke Battle Maps. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good. So we're going to have a chat with you about the Kickstarter and all the cool stuff that's happening right now at Loki. But for first things first, we were mentioning it in the pre-show. Loki, is that inspired by the Norse god Loki?
Yes, via a cat that we had. So we had a cat called Loki, and we named the business after the cat.
Excellent. That's the
Excellent.
best way to name your company.
That's
I love
amazing.
it. And so the little bit of the different spelling, was that the way that you spelt it for the cat?
We'd actually spelt the cat the traditional way, but the company name for Loki was already taken. So we
I
managed
see.
to register the alternative sort of Norse spelling for Loki.
Nice. Oh, all kinds of nerdery going on there. I love it. I love it.
That's amazing.
Folks who aren't familiar with the things you make, we'll put a bit of a picture up so that they can see. It is all these wonderful battle map books and pages. How did you get started with doing that kind of thing? How did that happen?
So initially we started off with more traditional mats, so roll-up PVC mats and the like. And historically, obviously not at the moment, but I tend to travel for my games.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got friends who've got bigger houses nearer to my other friends, so we tend to play around there.
Yep.
And I used to have carry like one of those almost like a pool cue bag with rolled up mats in it
Yes,
to
yeah.
get stuff around there. And yeah, no, we eventually worked out that like you could get so many more maps into a smaller package in a book. So one A4, A3 book, get about 60 pages in there. So lots of maps. Because I tend to do fairly sandbox games, so I'm never quite sure where they're going or what they're doing.
I see. So do you?
So,
That's actually nice. It gives you a lot of variability then to be able to just say, if they're saying, right, we're going to leap over to the left, you're like, aha, and you look super prepared, even though perhaps you're like, oh, nuts, I didn't think it was going to be there this evening.
yeah, that's it. You can quickly on the fly sort of keep them talking for a little bit while you flick through, get something prepped up, and then when it comes to the tactical combat piece, you've got something to map it out.
Is it obviously it's a little bit difficult now, but maybe you've taken it online. Is a regular gaming session something that's a big fixture in your life? You play lots of games?
Yeah, no, we've switched to online for my main game with my friends, and we have a family game as well.
Oh wow!
That can still happen in person.
How's the like? I
That's
have a
awesome.
family game as well. I play with my little ones. And how is your family game? Is there a big difference between that and your main game?
Yeah, system and general feel and design and things. So yeah, we have a 10-year-old daughter who plays in the family game. So there's just the three of us that will play that. So me, Tam, and Tabitha. And that's much more, going around a forest, rescuing. I think it's rescuing familiars that got captured from a wizard. So family-friendly sort of D&D games.
One of the things that struck me when I was playing with
That's
my
very
family
cool.
is I play a wizard. And obviously, when you're a low-level wizard, everything is too expensive to do cool stuff. And normally in a game, I would be like, oh, I'm just going to scrabble 15 coppers together. I'm like 20 coppers short of a chunk of rock or something. But in my family game, my kids were like, oh, do you need some money? There you go. I'm like, what? What is this? What is this generosity from players? I was shocked how different kids were.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I
That's
love it.
very cool. It's also one of those things where they'll think of different ways of doing stuff as well. There's an absolute marvel. Is that, I mean, that's the one thing about GMing or DMing is that you have all this stuff set up, and then you'll think, right, these are the 5 or 6 options I reckon they go for, and then as players, they'll do something completely different. And with kids, because there's no previous experience, that number increases exponentially because they don't know they can't do a thing, which is an amazing thing to be.
There's plenty more left field ideas for sure.
So you have these two sort of games on the go, and the weight of 11 million maps in a pool cue bag kind of evolved into these gorgeous looking battle maps. Where do you get the art from? Where do you have a team of freelance? Do you have a
No, it's all in house. So I'm the designer for all of the maps in all of the books, and that
awesome.
takes a chunk of my time if it's drawing all of those.
So this is the thing I get confused and I struggle with when I try and draw my own maps, which is why I don't anymore. Is the size relation, like when you're trying to keep it to a, this is a 5-foot square, so the bridge needs to be 2 squares. Is that the right size for a bridge? I'm guessing it's developed over time for you.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
I think you had to take a page from all the miniatures companies and like stick heroic before a word. So it's scaled for the miniature and the scene. I mean, what I tend to do in drawing them, I have just a figure that I'll keep at the desk and literally get the map 1-to-1 size up on the monitor and just move a figure around it to sort of make it look like it makes sense.
Yeah. That's a clever,
scale it.
Such a simple trick that you then go, oh, that would have saved my brain when I was trying to draw that about 5 years ago.
Yeah, so if you draw a bed down and think maybe it's the wrong size, like just put the figure next to it and go, like, does it look like that figure would sleep in that bed, or is it too small or massively oversized?
I like it. That's a
Do you tend to get the like the squares or even hexes down first and then put the stuff on top, or do you just draw it and then check against the model and shrink whatever it is?
I start with the squares first. So the very, very earliest maps are literally just squares of color. So like what might be clear terrain, difficult terrain, whatever feature might be for that particular map, and it's got to stay workable and tactical. So if there's space for larger bases to move around and smaller bases to only go in certain places and things, there's it kind of defeats the object. I think if you've put a map together and then suddenly you're like, well, it's great, but I can't actually put my figure on it anywhere and see where they go.
Here is a beautiful thing that you have to fly over now. Congratulations, guys.
So sometimes I think realism or even aesthetics sometimes will take a backseat to playability and tactical sort of use.
Yeah, that's cool. That's yeah. I mean, it is, like Kate said, great to have a beautiful, expansive map, and then you're like, well, my figure can go here, and that's it.
Yeah.
If we all run over to the left, the giant can't get us.
Yeah, and maybe that's the encounter. Maybe it's stabbing spears out of a cave at kneecaps and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
So you've done a couple of these beautiful books now, and we're just show folks the Kickstarter page you've got up. This is for wilderness, so it covers a lot of we can see here like forests and deserts and hills and grass and that kind of stuff. How do you do you have a look at Google Maps? Is there an inspiration for this that you kind of think, right, or is it sort of going through your catalogue and thinking, right, we need a this event or a this location, feedback from other folks? I'm talking too much. How do you work it out?
I suppose it all starts on paper. So we'll start literally just by writing down a big list and then sort of narrowing that down. There's extra consideration because these are the modular sets. So we've kind of evolved a couple of different types of the map book product since we started it. So we've got, very briefly, big books, which are A4 sized, which is the first one we brought out. Then we brought out giant books, which are A3 sized. And then we came up with the modular sets, which are 2 books as a single product. And they're 1 foot squares that fold out so you can do 2 by 2 area that fits into a 1 foot square sort of slipcase. So it's easy to travel and transport around. And the key bit of those is that lots of the edges will match up so that you can change between pages and orientations and get far, far more designs out of it than even just 60 maps in a book. You suddenly have 80 maps in total between the books that can be arranged in lots and lots of different patterns. So when
That's very
designing
cool.
them, we've got to try and think, will this work alongside which other pages? Can this be used to make, a snaking canyon that goes out into like a river valley?
Yeah.
How might they be used? And because this is the 3rd set we've done for modular books, we also want it to work with the previous 2. So, go from your grassy, hilly field into some ruins, then into a dungeon, or into like the rural outskirts and into a town for the Towns and Taverns book.
Wow.
So yeah, lots of seeing what would work with what else.
Do you ever have in those sessions where where you're saying you write down all the different things and it's like lava death cave? Yes, I want to do that one, and like this is must happen. I can see a lava map on the Kickstarter actually.
It's very cool.
Yeah, that's in there.
Yeah. Do you have those sessions, and do you have like a well, maybe we don't need the death metal cave in the wilderness one. Maybe we'll just make a death, that kind of thing. You have to.
Yeah, well, luckily there's 2 of us that go over the design. So yeah, like if anyone in particular has an idea that's maybe not suitable, then they can be talked out of it.
Just not this time. Just,
gently steered back onto theme.
Yeah, I like it.
I love the idea that you're actually creating your own Google map, and that because all of these things join together, you've got so many different iterations that, barring the ecologists and geologists who might get angry when you stick something unlikely next to something else slightly less likely, it's that whole this is a magical world, this is a thing with stuff going on. That's a huge amount of variety, and it just sounds like the more of your stuff you buy, the more you can put it together in a bigger world you could create. I mean, have you looked at it as world building almost as well?
To a degree, yeah. I mean, with this particular Kickstarter, we've got a couple of extra products alongside the map books that we're looking at making. So almost, we've kind of seen it almost as a trilogy at this point. So we had the dungeon, then Towns and Taverns, then the wilderness. It's the 3 main sort of types of maps you might use or areas you might be exploring around and adventuring in. After that, classics, it's probably after that I think it starts to get a bit more specific, or less generic and useful for lots of things.
Do you ever like design encounters or think like this map would be great for X thing? Like, you can have a wicked wizard fight on this.
Yeah, not to the point where I'll sort of write them out or anything, but yeah, I'll definitely be trying to think, like what can be used on it. And when we get the prototypes through, we'll tend to get a whole bunch of different figures out and spread them across and just see what looks like it works.
That'd be too tempting to just accidentally spend the afternoon playing an RPG. Oh,
yeah,
look, the prototypes are in. We have to play this campaign now. Oh no, that kind of stuff.
One thing, because we've tended to do an accompanying adventure for each book set as part of the Kickstarters, so just PDFs as opposed to putting them out in print. But the first one, we kind of got the dungeon, took one of the 4-page spreads, and we'll just write some encounters for this. It's about 14 rooms. It turns out that's like 50 pages done already. And there's an extra
nice.
Sort of like 19 pages in each. 19 spreads in each book to go through. And it's like, well, we can't really write something to use everything in the books because it'll be huge.
Yeah, you'd branching out into a different kind of publishing there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and we're going into some more system agnostic encounter publishing as part of this one. We're putting together something else we've done for each of these Kickstarters in the past is encounter generators, partially linked to the books, but partially standalone. So we're going to take all the standalone bits, which I think runs at the moment to about 1,000 encounters, which are
Oh
from
wow.
like one paragraph through to like 3 or 4 paragraphs of something that may happen. And they're dungeon themed ones, town themed ones, and wilderness themed ones. So we're putting all those together into a hardback, and that's one of the add-ons, and it's in a couple of reward levels on the Kickstarter.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah, I found it on the Kickstarter page.
That's awesome.
Like a proper nice book to go with you.
See, that's one of the things when you've got a big module. So we're I'm playing quite a bit of D&D at the moment, and we're having Storm King's Thunder run for us, which is excellent. But there are points where, so we did it sort of, turnabout face in that we ended up in Icewind Dale where there's a lot of snow, and the DM's like, I've only a certain amount of things that I can throw at you at each level before it's like, oh, well, here's another, mega yeti about to kick out.
There's a yeti made up of yetis.
Yes, yeah. Then it gets a bit weird and surreal. But actually, having things like that as encounters means that you already have the idea. Well, this is a wilderness, and these wilderness things could be applied, to different versions of that. So that I think was massively useful.
Yeah, so I think for the wilderness one, we've separated by biome. So there's a whole set of 60, 70 Arctic themed encounters.
Wow, that's cool.
Awesome.
That's cool.
That's tremendous.
Do you have
also great use of the word biome? My degree is biology, and that's very pleasing.
Do you have like obviously Kate's mentioned one of the Dungeons and Dragons, the Storm King's Thunder, which is from running it a globe trotting adventure. I think there's bits everywhere.
Yep.
I'm very careful now. If you're playing it, I can't mention some of the things because then it might spoil some of the things.
Yep. No spoilers.
But things like those campaigns, do you kind of look at them and maybe some of the Pathfinder adventures and think, oh, maybe we should, I've heard this is coming out, maybe we should make sure we've got some, so it's not just for folks who run homebrew. You can use it with established adventures from different systems.
Yeah, I mean, we don't look specifically at any one module or anything like that. I think we aim for the widest possible appeal for generic useful maps for someone's game. So the dungeon had lots of different dungeon areas and layouts and a couple of different styles. So one more sort of ramshackle flagstone, one slightly more polished sort of could be inside a keep type look, as well as caverns and things. And then with towns and taverns, we did similar, so lots and lots of urban environments set up. And for the wilderness, it's the same sort of thing. There's nothing super specific in there that can only really be used for one or two set encounters, but hopefully we've got the balance right for lots of generic, useful, replayable areas.
Yeah.
And one of the good things about going to Kickstarter is we can get feedback before we produce this book. So if we've already changed layout a little bit from what we'd originally gone in with.
Oh,
so I think we've taken out one page which was just open sea with a ship on it, and that's been replaced with sort of like a ruined watchtower on a cliff over a beach.
Wow. And
that's based on
back
of feedback and talking about it once it starts.
It's pretty fun to be able to.
So you talk about a lot of replayability. I apologise. I think I'm lagging horribly. I do apologise.
No, go ahead.
They talk about replayability with maps. So these maps, I think what people need to appreciate is that so these are all beautifully drawn and gorgeous colours and very easy to see all of the space and things. But how do you use them for replayability? I mean, if you need to write effects on the mat or things like that, are your mats damaged and things then, or?
Oh yes, I suppose that's one key thing I've missed is they are all fully laminated, so they're on thick sort of cardstock style paper. So it's the sort of thing. Yeah, they're effectively solid and laminate and dry white markers, wet erase markers, chalk pens. They'll all be cleaned off. We also do sets of static clings, which are kind of like window stickers that stick onto laminate surfaces. So you can get add-ons that are in the same style and palette as the maps to put ruins and traps and all manner of things. We've got quite a few sets of those. We produced one set alongside the dungeon for dungeon decorations. 3 sets got made as part of Towns and Taverns. So town trimmings, spell effects, and war and siege. And we're looking at doing another set as part of the wilderness for wilderness-based decals. So tree canopies.
I thought I could be helpful then,
water features and things.
but I can't find where I've safely put my set from a previous book.
I was going to say, let's have a look at the one, because what you need to do is
I've got some
you need to appreciate it.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
these
very
are
cool.
like when I saw them, when I first got some of them, because I got a gift of the dungeon book from my one of my players. Hint, folks, these are excellent presents for your GM, your patient and wonderful GM who might take you through Storm King's Thunder, which is actually why I got given one of the books. And when I got it, it took me back to, you know, when you were kids and you had like the fuzzy felt things and those sort of stuff with the kind of laminate, and you can put them down on the map and then you peel them back off and you keep them safe. They're really fun. They're really cool. I was surprised at how much I loved them.
And it's very easy to change the adventure and make it unique to your setting or your particular encounter as well, isn't it?
Oh, totally. I mean, the dungeon ones, I've only got a couple of pages of them handy here, but we put things like walls and doors and things there, so you can literally just block off a corridor and completely change the layout of that section of dungeon just by, you know, putting a wall in somewhere and a door in somewhere else. And you know, I don't know if these will show up particularly on a camera, but that one there's things like treasure piles and spiders' webs and bits and pieces.
Yes.
And you know, lava rivers, traps. I mean, the old crushing walls. You can move the stickers in like once per round, sort of thing. So yeah, they work nicely. and some of them are made to complement some of the pages in the book. So I think we've got a classic Indiana Jones style boulder chase set of pages, and one of the ones we've got there is obviously there's a boulder that just fits into like 2-inch square, and yeah, you can chase your players along corridors.
Yeah, they are very good fun. Even just for the delight. Like I can imagine the prototypes coming in and getting the minis out and being like, oh, I'm gonna put my wizard's fireball there. It's just fun. I had a delightful afternoon with my stickers. Given that it's a little bit difficult right now to get out and aside from playing with our families and in our social bubbles and that kind of stuff, have I seen on the Kickstarter page that you can also, part of the Kickstarter is to get some of the digital maps to kind of tide you through?
Yes, absolutely. We've done this for all of our other Kickstarters as well. We've made digital versions of everything, and that's digital is the virtual tabletop optimized files, so they'll all be smaller file size, smaller you know, like pixel resolution, so they work well on like Roll20 and the like.
Awesome.
We also put print ready files in there. If people are printing at home, they can get actual full print resolution files for each of the maps,
just in case you can't wait until it ships.
Yeah, you could do that, or you know, in theory, you could put a few of them together and make a different shape. So you know, if you wanted like a 6 foot by 1 foot stretch of winding streets, that's not going to fit in the book, but you could put it together and print your own out.
Nice.
That sort of thing. And as well as that, on the digital, we tend to do all of these stickers as tokens. So I think for the wilderness, we're currently looking at about 90 plus tokens. It'll probably be more than that. And that'll be all unique tokens as opposed to just sort of color changes and flips and things.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you could have like 99 tokens, but 12 of them are different colored firebolts.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So yeah, we tend to put variations and things in as well, but don't really count them towards the base numbers.
That's cool. That's good. That's
And what else have we got alongside that? There'll also be another encounter generator, which will be for the wilderness. That'll probably come in at about 100-ish pages PDF. We've got, I think now, 2 adventures. So we had one originally and another one as a stretch goal. And yep, so maps from the little book will be there as well. So as alongside the larger 1 foot square books, we do a little book, which is 6 foot square pages. which is sort of transition areas, and for the wilderness, sort of like, small perilous locations and things is the plan.
I saw on the Kickstarter there's like a ruined ship or something picture I saw.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So yeah, so that'll be in the little book, and there I've got the town and tavern one here, so they're kind of that size.
Ditto, yeah.
So yeah. And I think we did put a ship into this one, and there's a ruined ship in the other one. So that one has a nice, still intact little ship.
Yep.
And the wilderness one will have a sunken shipwreck.
And those are quite cool because so you can have your dock kind of area and things, and then have your sea area, and actually like you see a ship pull up, and then your other little book just sits on top of it, and you've got your ship comes in straight away. I quite like that. It's amazing how layered this is, and how much you get from people like, oh, how can you have a book of maps? It's like, no, look at it, and you join it all together. We were playing with the ones that you sent in for the UK Games Expo Awards, because it's a great, lovely, hefty book, big book of battle maps, and put it out, and we're all there putting it together because so Finny, Richard and I also wargame as well as role play, and putting everything together we're like, oh, you could have a tactical thing on this, or I think Finn's playing badgers and burrows, or you could have another set of encounters with your Warhammer stuff. So lovely. Yeah, there's a lot of versatility in these things, and they are robust, which is tremendous. So and you funded, obviously.
Yes, no, we hit funding quite quickly, which is very nice. We're going through stretch goals at the minute. I think we come up on 1 week tomorrow, and that leaves us about a week and a half left to run. So
12 we've not gone days, it says right now.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. 3,000.
Is there something from the stretch goals?
Oh, go on.
Sorry, go on.
You first, Kate.
Is there something from the stretch goals that you'd really like to see, or is there something where if you get past a certain amount of money, there's another stretch goal you might want to put in or might think about it? I mean, you guys are super successful with this, so
yeah, we've got 2 more announced stretch goals. The next one is the one that adds extra value to all the physical pledges, and that's where we put in a set of the decals for free alongside each of the book sets. So any pledge level which has got 1 set of the books in will get 1 set of the decals for free. Any with 2 sets of the books will get 2 sets for free. It's when we hit that sort of point that we can afford to do that as part of the Kickstarter, and suddenly it jumps all of the pledges up quite a bit as far as value goes. So we're looking comfortable for hitting that. So that'll give people more for backing it, which is kind of what we want. The next one we've got announced is we've traditionally left a set of blank pages at the start of each book, so you can get your pen out and put whatever you want in. But we decided that as the wilderness has got a blank grassland spread, because we kind of needed to put a blank base in for grass, we're going to replace the blank spread in these books, so there won't be a completely blank set. Instead, there'll be, the grassland one will count as your blank base. And we've not decided what that design will be yet. I think we're going to take suggestions from the Kickstarter. We might do a survey or a poll or something to find out what people are most interested in. So so there is currently as yet 1 unannounced map if we hit that next stretch goal.
That's exciting. And folks can see you doing some of the drawing, can't they? He was mentioning a Twitch stream sometimes.
Yeah, we stream on Twitch 10 p.m. GMT on Mondays, and that's been going for a while now. I think we started Twitch streams up because all the conventions had to go online last year, so we started doing a few events for those and just kept that going. So there's, I don't know how long Twitch keeps them up for, but there'll be previous videos of all the various bits of this being drawn, or at least whichever bits of them were drawn during that particular bit on a Monday. Yeah,
that's nice. So see how the process goes and have a chat and maybe get some scoops on what the new map could be. Oh, that's cool. This is awesome. I'm really excited to see how well, like 3,025 folks jumping in to help you make this next set of battle maps is a phenomenal tribe of folks who've come to see what's going on. I'm really excited. Sandro I'm really bad at names. Folks in the chat.
Sanjuro Tokagi.
There we go. He's popped along to your
Tokagi. Sorry.
Popped along to some of your streams and saw them. Said they're really good. There's also a suggestion for a flattened adventurer decal to go with the boulder.
Oh no, dear.
I don't know. We've got some slightly dead ones in the War and Siege patch. Has some casualties.
Nice.
Which,
all right.
Flat stickers. It'll probably work.
That's good.
Excellent.
I like it. Well done.
Is there anything in particular that you especially like drawing or adding to maps? I mean, is it the big sweeping things? Is it the designing it while you've got a story in your head? Well, what's the great thing for you?
I think variety, because if you're drawing them, like quite as often, it's nice to sort of go from, like something sci-fi or cyberpunk, and then switch back and do fantasy. So like mixing and matching. Because I think if you did exactly the same type of thing all the time, it'll get a bit too samey.
Yes.
But switching and variety and things, I think. And there's a certain stage where it goes from not looking very complete and looking a bit, unfinished to starting to put, shadows and highlights and things in places. It's kind of, I think, like when you're doing painting in miniature, they can look pretty poor at the block out stages, and then as soon as you put the washes and highlights on, suddenly it pops and it looks like, 10 times better for that little bit of extra work. I think that's the nice bit when doing them.
It just occurred to me then, and I never thought about it before when you mentioned cyberpunk and stuff, but these maps would be excellent for like your Star Trek adventures with beam down to the planet, Captain, with your little away mission. Oh, I never thought of it like that.
I mean, if you take the Star Trek thing, well, they used every other set available at the time, so just pick your maps.
And then you could, so not even just, I was obviously stuck in my fantasy head, but yeah, you could definitely beam down and scan the planet, or go and adventure in some far-flung worlds with your other space RPGs and that kind of stuff. Oh, it's my brain just exploded onto the books behind me there. That's awesome.
That is tremendous.
But you do sci-fi and like deck plans and stuff as well, is that right?
We do, yes. So we did a set of sci-fi books in the big and giant sizes, so the A4, A3, and the same with cyberpunk books.
Oh, exciting. Everything, something for everyone.
And distant pipeline, but we're thinking we might go modular sci-fi for a future Kickstarter.
Ooh.
So deck plans and sort of ship areas and things, so you can assemble the books to make a different ship plan. That sort of thing is it's on the drawing board, but early stages.
I think Garblag Games in Twitch chat is very excited about that. I know Pete is a Traveller fan. That will get them excited. It's pretty awesome to see how well your Kickstarter is doing. Pretty exciting. Now I've worked out I can use it for many different systems, not just my my next D&D campaign, to be honest. I'm okay, I like it. I think Kate has been popping in chat all the different places you can find out, but just tell us again for folks who are listening along, where can they find you, and how long is the Kickstarter got left?
So the Kickstarter, I think, has 12 days left. It finishes on the 1st of March, which is a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a week Monday coming or something. So yeah, about 12 days. The Kickstarter, it's Wilderness Modular Books of Battle Maps. It should be easy enough to find just by browsing the Kickstarter Discovery. Our online
just
presence.
Popped it into the chat. So.
Cool. Yeah. For us online, we're LokeBattleMaps.com. Although all of our products are available not only from us, but we're sold in general hobby shops and online retailers.
Cool.
Both here, the US, EU. In theory, worldwide, but I don't know exactly which shops have got us where. But there's plenty of them out there.
Check your friendly local game store, and if they don't have any, ask for some, because every friendly local game store owner we've spoken to is like, oh yeah, I can get anything in. I'll bend over backwards to get what my customers want. So do go into your local game store. Click and collect with your local game store right now, and ask them for some Loki Battle Maps, and get all the back catalogue. Because now I'm like, I'm going to send some Star Trek people into a tavern, and we can do that Star Trek adventure where Kirk goes back in time. Okay, I've got it now. Right, gonna use them for everything. It has been lovely chatting with you, Matt. I'm a big RPG nerd, so I'm sold. I know Kate is a big RPG nerd. She's sold, and from what
I love maps.
Yeah, I love
amazing.
maps too. Folks in the chat seem to be very excited about this. Modular sci-fi books. Where do I sign up? At the Kickstarter, let them know. And going forward, it'll be a thing. It's been a pleasure. We're going to take a short break, folks. Refill our coffee cups. Attend to these human needs, because we are not yet uploaded into the internet like our sci-fi dreams. And we'll be back. We're going to be talking with the folks from Mind Sports Olympiad. You may not realise you've already met some of them at the UK Games Expo, but it'd be nice to have a good chat and find out about what they're doing this weekend. This weekend,
yeah, Winter Games.
Yeah. Do check out Loke Battle Maps on their Kickstarter or on their social medias. It's been a pleasure, Matt.
Cheers.
Cheers, folks. See you in a moment.
Thanks, folks.